RV boondocking, also known as dry camping, off-grid, and dispersed camping, has become seriously popular over the last several years amongst outdoor enthusiasts and nomadic travelers living in a camper van or an RV. Why? Because RV boondocking offers a unique opportunity to really explore nature, disconnect from the daily hustle and bustle, and maybe have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine at your birthday suit with no one watching. Basically to experience what true freedom on the road feels like. However, Dave and I have been RV boondocking for a long time, and amidst the excitement and allure of RV boondocking, there are quite a few misconceptions and huge lies that go unaddressed. Whew, I will tell you, it is definitely getting hot here in Nevada, right babe?
Oh, it's definitely getting hot.
Whew, hold on just for a second.
Okay, you got it, babe. All right.
Woo, so today, we're gonna uncover 7 huge lies about RV boondocking that no one really talks about. Well, we are. Let's get into it. Well, let's kick this off. Number 1, boondocking is always free.
Yes, that's a common misconception.
Yeah.
Well, boondocking can be free. Many public lands, such as state parks, and even actually some Bureau of Land Management areas, or BLM land, require fees and permits to stay overnight. Now, while these fees will be lower generally than what you'll find at campgrounds, you still need to factor those fees into your budget.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. An example is we actually stayed at a place called La Pusa long-term BLM land in Quartzsite, and we had to pay a flat fee of $40. Whether you're staying 1 day or the max of 14 days, we had to pay that flat fee of $40. So keep that in mind when you're off thinking about boondocking. Some of these places do require a fee, so budget for it. You can boondock anywhere. Wrong. Truth be told, boondocking, especially today, have really become subject to local laws and regulations. Many areas don't even allow overnight camping, or they put restrictions on exactly where you can park your RV. This really pertains to a lot of places like cities or municipalities, which have made it downright illegal to park anywhere that's not a campground or an RV park. And a lot of times, those come with fees. And remember, we had a perfect example of this was in San Diego, where we tried to find places where we can overnight camp that were basically free. Now it's a city environment, but we couldn't do it. There were signs everywhere that said no overnight camping. So you had to park in an RV park or RV campground, and 9 times out of 10, those come with a fee.
Related to this are time limitations for camping at various locations. Often public lands have limits in place in terms of how long you can camp at a site. For example, BLM land typically only allows you to camp concurrently for 14 days.
Yes.
Right, so you need to keep that in mind, and also be cognizant of other campers looking for spots if you're staying for that full 14 days.
You can always find the perfect boondocking spot. With the increasing popularity of RV life and van life, especially over the last several years, scoring that perfect boondocking spot is virtually impossible, and it can be really challenging, especially during peak season. It's certainly going to require careful research, knowledge of local regulations, and you may even have to do some trip scouting. Let's face it, preparation and flexibility are going to be your best friend for trying to secure the perfect boondocking spot, and Dave's got the perfect tip for that.
Thanks, babe. If you're looking for that choice boondocking spot during peak season or on weekends, we recommend getting there early in the day. This is super important because places fill up during the day, so get there early and you may just get lucky.
You won't need any amenities while boondocking. While boondocking allows you to disconnect from utilities, it still requires proper planning for water, power, and waste management. Solar, generators, and conserving resources becomes essential. Now we have a 50-gallon fresh, a 50-gallon gray, and an Insta hot water system. And for our size rig, that's great. But you still have to be careful when it comes to taking those showers, whether it's long showers or frequent showers. You gotta diminish that. And that's just the way it is when you're in the boondocking life living in a van. So we do this as well. Get some baby wipes. They make great scents. There's cocoa butter, make it soft. There's lavender to help you relax and get all up in them crevices. It'll save you water.
Now that was well said, babe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Fresh.
Now, in addition to managing our water consumption, managing our power consumption while boondocking is extremely important. Now, fortunately for us, our rig has many redundant systems with our lithium batteries, our solar, our generator, and also our propane. Now, depending on the time of year, it really puts different strains on the system. During the summer months in the hot conditions, we put a lot of strain on our batteries and sometimes have to run the generator as well to really top off those batteries running the air conditioning, right? Now in the winter months, we don't really use the batteries as much or the generator, but we use propane heating system all the time. As you can understand that doing in cold weather camping, we need careful tabs on what our propane levels are.
Well, what about waste? Well, when it comes to trash and food waste, it can be pretty challenging. Now, you don't want your rig full of smelly garbage while you're off boondocking in some beautiful wilderness. So for us, when we're boondocking, we tend to separate our waste into sealed plastic bags. We put them in our garage space away from our living space, which allows that smell to not enter our home until we can actually get to a public space where we can dump the trash.
For us, one of our biggest boondocking challenges is often our small 5-gallon cassette toilet. Ooh. We're off boondocking for quite a while. What we'll do is actually set up an outside tent toilet, right? Yeah. A little kind of porta potty.
A portable poop tent.
In a tent, right? And that's where we take our poop effectively.
Yes.
Number 2, just being totally open here, right? And then in terms of to conserve and kind of prolong our cassette toilet capacity, I mean, we'll pee outside in the wilderness quite a bit as well, right? So obviously you don't do that when you're around a lot of people, but if you're off on your own boondocking, that's a way to definitely prolong our ability to stay out.
We truly become one with nature. The animals do it, and we're human animals, so you know.
Exactly. And basically, and any of the waste and of course the outside porta potty, we'll seal it up and bring that back with us as well when we actually find a place to dump it later on.
Absolutely. It's easy to stay connected while boondocking. You know, truth be told, boondocking often means little to no cell service or Wi-Fi. So you're gonna either have to prepare for a digital detox or invest in a mobile signal booster or satellite if that's crucial to you. Now, while some boondocking enthusiasts and even us at times want to venture off into some far remote places to really stay disconnected, we certainly feel it's important to have some sort of connectivity in case there's an emergency that you need to get to. Now, Dave and I, we've invested in hotspots. We even have Starlink for those areas where hotspots don't work whatsoever. You have a much better chance of surviving with some sort of satellite like Starlink. And for those of you who might be asking, well, why do you have hotspots and a Starlink? Well, you obviously know we're full-time content creators, so it's really crucial for us to be connected all the time. Boondocking is always safe.
While many boondocking areas are safe, it's important to research and assess the safety of the area beforehand. Many areas may have challenging roads, may have even some security risks in the area, may have wildlife issues, so make sure you understand that before you head off into that remote area.
Can you overnight here at the Buc-ee's in Fort Worth, Texas? Access denied. You know, while boondocking offers incredible experiences, it doesn't come without risk. So we actually feel you should know where your closest medical facility is in case you need emergency treatment. But we also feel, we've heard a lot of this on the road from couples that may have driven or drive bigger rigs. It's really important for you ladies to get out there and drive those rigs as well, especially if you're thinking about the boondocking life, because if you get into an emergency situation, you need to know how to drive that vehicle as much as your husband does. So get out there and take control of that big old wheel. Take control of that big old wheel. Take control. Just like that.
Just like that.
You don't need to worry or prepare for wildlife encounters. You crazy!
Boondocking, truth be told, takes you quite often into natural areas where wildlife roams freely, right? And so it's very important to be aware of your local wildlife. What are the animals there? What do you need to be aware of? For example, if you're in bear country, you need to be very careful with your food and your food waste. You want to make sure that is stored in bear safe containers, certainly if it's outside, and also in your rig. You don't want your campsite to become a smorgasbord for bears coming into the campsite.
Hey bear!
Yes.
Hey bear! Oh! Hey bear! Also, if you have pets, especially cats or small dogs, please be very careful when you're camping with them out in the wilderness. You don't want your furry family friends to be stalked by predators, and they are out there, from coyotes, there's foxes, there's bobcats, even owls. Just be very careful when you're out there with your pets. You know, we actually lost one of our cats previously to predators when we were living in the woods, and it's clearly something we never want to happen again. So please, when you're out there camping with your furry friends, keep a close eye on where they are and just know your surroundings. Oh, I forgot to mention something.
Oh yeah, what's that?
We have an awesome private community called our Turn It Up World Insiders, aka Game Changers, over on Patreon, which allows you behind the scenes access to more, get to know us a little bit better and for us to get to know you a little bit better. We have private live streams. We have, oh my goodness, merch. New merch coming.
Yes.
New merch coming. We got early access to the new merch. Limited edition. And we now have Trivia Night, our members only trivia night where you can win prizes. Hang out with us. And we'll leave a link in the description box below. Check it out. We got some bonuses. Bonus number 1. Boondocking is for everyone and for every rig out there. Boondocking encourages self-sufficiency, but it's really easy and natural to miss the conveniences of traditional campgrounds like hookups, showers, laundry facilities, and even recreational amenities. You have to be prepared for a different type of lifestyle, which also means you may have to prepare your rig for that lifestyle. Like you may need to get solar, lithium batteries, and if you plan on going even further off-grid, you might want to invest in something like a winch on your rig if it's a motorhome, or you might want to make sure you get something like a frontal hitch to get you out of those sticky situations. It's really crucial to evaluate your preferences, your camping style, and your comfortability before you go off embarking on boondocking adventure.
While boondocking is possible with various different RV sizes, it's very important to acknowledge that smaller rigs certainly have an advantage getting to remote and harder to get locations, right? I mean, larger rigs may have some difficulty getting to these locations, so may require additional planning and things like that. So just be aware of that. We actually opted for a 23-foot rig with all-wheel drive because we wanted to those remote locations, recognizing that we needed that flexibility to do so and that a larger rig maybe wouldn't be able to get there. Now, of course, that comes with a trade-off. Like, obviously, our rig does not have the same size that you get in the Class A's and the fifth wheels.
Storage is
right?
less.
Exactly. But everything comes with a trade-off, and for us, getting to those remote locations was more important.
Absolutely. I love going off, having my morning cup of coffee, my birthday suit, and nobody's around but me and the birds, baby.
Now, let me just say this. If you're really nervous about getting into boondocking but want to give it a try but don't really know the capabilities of your rig, one thing you can do if you're in an RV park, just unplug.
Yes.
Right? Unplug in the RV park and just see how you like it. Obviously, you aren't in some remote location, but at least you can test your rig and just see what it's like for you living in that rig unplugged.
Yeah, it really helps you to understand the capabilities.
Yes.
And by doing that, you can know how long you can go off, how much consumption you need to save, and what you need to pull back on before you actually get off into that remote area. Help, Tanya and Dave!
Exactly.
Because we just might not be there. Boondocking is a solitary experience.
Boondocking can be a solitary experience. It certainly does not have to be. And it can actually be a great way to build bonds with like-minded individuals who love boondocking and love, just getting out there and just living the life,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Unhooked, unplugged. And actually one of our best experiences in our rig was boondocking and doing a caravan with other folks in Desert Snow in this Echo rig. We had an amazing time in Utah overlanding and boondocking and just in some incredible remote locations and really built some lasting friendships.
Yeah, and great memories. Dave and I absolutely love boondocking. And RV boondocking is an exciting way to really get out there and explore and enjoy the great outdoors, but it's essential to separate the fact from the fiction. By us dispelling these 7 lies about boondocking, we're hoping to equip you with, more realistic expectations and practical knowledge.
Remember to research, plan, and practice responsible camping to make the most of your boondocking adventure.
Yeah, that's right. Remember to embrace the freedom, connect with nature, and just really enjoy the unique experiences that boondocking has to offer.
And if you're a boondocker watching this video and you have tips to share, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to read them.
Absolutely. And on that note, happy boondocking, y'all.